Hello yoginis and yogis. Welcome back to the Yoga Clinic. My name is Becca. So today we're going to do a gentle yoga practice. I was looking at my, you can look at all these statistics on YouTube Studio about who your audience is, and I was surprised to find that a lot of my audience is over the age of 65. So not that people over 65 can't practice hard yoga, but on the contrary, I think that as we get older, we get wiser to the signs that our body might be sending us about needing to slow down one day and taking it easy. So this class is really good if that's you. If the body is hurting, you've had a lot of hard workouts, or any kind of emotional pain, stress, you just feel like you need to move in a way that's very restorative for your body. This is not a restorative practice. We're going to move slowly through seated postures and then standing and then back down to the mat, as is typical for a vinyasa style class. But it'll be a little lighter on the joints, a little bit less demanding on your cardiovascular system, and hopefully you'll feel nice and loose and in your body afterward. So for today's class, we're going to need a blanket and a strap. And then join me on your mat. I'm sitting here on my blanket. I like to elevate my hips a little. You don't have to do that. And we'll just close the eyes down here to start. Now, if you feel that it's uncomfortable to sit upright today, you're welcome to take this invocation from a supine position. And let's exhale all of the air out. And then we'll breathe in deeply. And breathe out deeply, either nose or mouth, doesn't matter. Again, breathe in deeply. Breathe out deeply. Breathe in fully, deeply, expand. And exhale all the air out. And then release. Let the breathing return to normal. Finding your center today. That might not happen automatically. We just gently begin to journey inward into the body. Making a commitment here to listen. To listen to what the body is trying to tell us. And to be kind to whatever we hear. And then in a true karma yogi fashion, we will dedicate the fruits of our practice to the betterment of someone else, something else. Maybe we want to be able to show up better for our loved ones. And let our yoga practice help us do that. So we can listen to ourselves more closely, so we can listen to others more closely. We can be more attuned to the cycles of nature. Let's take a breath into the heart space, filling up the front and back, side and side, and top and bottom. So 360 degrees. And then exhaling all the air out. Good. Okay, blinking the eyes open, we're going to find our way onto our backs. So working with flow today in a very gentle and compassionate way, we're going to lay down in a bridge position, feet down, soles of the feet together. And before we do anything, let's just sway the knees from side to side. And this gives us a really good clue about our hips today and our lower back. So for me, internal rotation always feels really good on my low back. For you, it might be more of like a twist in the external rotation, just kind of being curious about what is showing up for you here. You can make some circles with the low back on the mat. And then maybe switching the direction. And if you have lower back pain, like me, I did make a special video just for you. It's called Yoga for Low Back Pain. Be sure to check that out. We're going to move on for today into Apanasana. So interlacing the fingers in front of the shins, drawing the thighs into the chest. We'll inhale, feel the knees draw away. And then exhale, pull the knees in close, keeping the head on the mat and the sides of the neck long. Again, inhale, thighs draw away, fill the belly. You might take the hands on top of the knees. And then exhale, push the air out. And as you do that, pull the knees in towards your chest. Last one here, inhale. Exhale, both knees draw in. And then inhale, we'll extend the left leg long on the mat, right knee draws away. And then exhale, we'll take the knee across the body for a twist, so you can scoot the knees over to the right here. And then there's no need to have the shoulders pinned to the ground. There's no need to bring the right knee all the way to the left side of the mat. This is just a gentle twist here. You can move the right knee up and down and just kind of explore where is the right position for your knee so the body can be happy. And then you might take the gaze over the opposite shoulder. And then staying in the twist, draw your knees together. So left knee sneaks underneath the right. And then we're going to make some half circles with the right arm. So first extending it overhead. And then scraping the fingernails in a rainbow to the right side of your mat. Oh, here comes my cat. She likes the noise. And then back up, tracing this rainbow. So we're working gently with thoracic vertebrae, the bones in our middle back, just working on some gentle mobility. Good. And then we'll bring the gaze forward, bring the knees back to center. Take some little circles with the back if you like. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So the left knee draws in, the right leg extends, and then we'll inhale, left knee draws away, and exhale, left knee across the body. And then whatever position is comfortable for you, I want you to explore these postures. And that's when you become your own teacher. It's when you are able to listen to the guidance, but make it your own so that it suits you. It suits your body in that given moment. Good, and then we'll take the gaze in opposition. We'll pull the right knee under the left and extend the left arm overhead. So again, don't worry if your shoulders are both down. It's not about that today. And we'll trace some half circles with the fingers on the mat beside us. Nice and slow, and if there's any area that feels particularly sticky, you're welcome to stay there and breathe into that space. And imagine the breath combing through any tension in the body, any stiffness. Again, knees can fall apart. They do not have to stack fully. We'll bring the knees back to center, gathering the legs into the chest, Apanasana, wind-removing pose. You can probably guess why it's called that. Good, and then we're going to find a gentle, happy baby here. So grabbing hold of the outside edges of the feet, but for this one, let's let the tailbone curl up towards the sky. So this is just a little bit gentler on our low back, a little gentler on our hamstring attachment. You can rock side to side here. Feeling into the adductors, the muscles in our inner thigh that squeeze. Still breathing slowly and fully. And we'll gently release the legs, grabbing our strap. we'll run through some sciatic nerve glides. So you may not have problems with sciatica. Even still, this is a really good way to warm up the hamstrings before we get into more forward flexing postures. So we'll extend the left leg long. We'll loop the strap underneath the ball of the right foot. And then pull the right knee so it stacks over the right hip. Flex the right toes back and keep your head and neck relaxed, shoulders down. And then from here, with the foot flex, we'll begin to kick the heel forward and up. And as you do that, you'll feel the hamstring begin to stretch. So if you have sciatic nerve pain, this is the position that generally evokes that pain. So we don't want to go to the point of pain. And if you have tight hamstrings, again, we want to stay within our range of comfort. So we're just gliding the sciatic nerve through through the SI joint, essentially. But it glides, obviously, through many structures because it is a nerve. So we're just kind of telling that nerve that it's okay to calm down. We can move gently without it having to worry about us causing pain or tension on the nerve. And if this isn't an issue for you, again, we're just gently bringing warmth into the hamstring. So a lot of yoga postures are forward flexing, especially in the Ashtanga primary series, which is great as it prepares you for the next series, but a lot of times we overdo it. We come to the primary series when we're new to yoga, and so we haven't really gotten that ego check that you need to be safe in forward folds. So this is a way of giving back to our hamstrings, if that's you, if your hamstrings are tight, doing the most for you. Good, and we'll switch sides. Left ball of the foot in the strap, right leg long. And then flexing the toes towards your face, we'll begin to extend and flex at the knee. And staying within the range of comfort here. And it might be just a really small movement today, that's fine. It's not about how far you go, it's about the quality of the movement. Last one here. And let's gently remove the strap. We're going to make our way onto one side and coming up into a tabletop position. From tabletop, you guessed it, we're going to move into cat-cow. But before we do that, I want to be sure that the wrists are safe. So I know I harp on this a lot in my classes because a lot of people do get injured in their wrists from repetitive, unsafe weight bearing. So we want to spread the knuckles wide on the mat, all of them. And as we do that, can you begin to grip slightly with the fingertips on the mat? So you feel the hand activate. Keep the center of your palms flat. So it's more of like an energetic activation. Good. And then the eyes of the elbows are parallel to one another. And we will find cat-cow from here. So we'll inhale, dropping the belly, dropping the heart, letting the shoulder blades draw together, and then lifting the crown of the head up. Feel for the sitting bones spreading behind you. This is cow pose. We'll take a big breath in. And then cat, can you puff the back of the heart up, shoulder blades separate, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, and feel the sitting bones draw towards midline, pushing the mat away. Again, inhale, cow pose. So we're going slower here so that we can really draw attention to the movement rather than just kind of jumping into the pose like we've always done it. When I do, keep going in your cat-cow here. When I do gentle yoga practices, it's a reminder to return to my foundation. It can be very humbling to find that beginner's mind again and realize how so often in my practice I am just kind of doing what I've always done, and the mindfulness, the attention is not really there. So let's treat every posture today, even if they're familiar to you, as if it was our first time in it. because every time we get into a posture, it is different. So it's important to meet the posture where you are today. Let's do one more round here. Good, and then we will come to center. We're going to bring the right hand underneath the face, and we're going to curl the left arm around the low back. You might reach for the right inner thigh, and then we'll drop the right ear down towards the right shoulder. And try to keep the hips level here, so we're not putting more weight in the left knee. You can even imagine a slight squeezing in of your thighs towards one another. And then switch. Left hand will come down under the face, and then the right arm will reach up and around the back. And then again, feel for evening out the weight in your knees. Slight contraction between the thighs. Get long through the crown of the head, and then drop the left ear down. Pressing firmly into the bottom hand. We'll inhale the right arm back up, and then exhale, take it down. Good. Let's just do, so we did some the forward plane. So now we're going to do the lateral plane. Just some side bending here. We don't often get this movement in yoga practices. So you can imagine, or you can actually look at your heels one at a time. That'll kind of get you where you're going, or you could look at your butt. Check it out. Good. Okay. Flip the hands over. We'll just one at a time flip. Flip your left hand over. Palm face up, fingers towards your knees. Just going to release the wrists a little bit. Then take the left hand back down, flip the right hand over, palm up, fingers point towards your knee. Good. We'll shake out the wrists a little bit. We'll find downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now for this one, let's bend the knees a lot, unless you have very happy hamstrings. Today, for me, I'm going to bend my knees, and I'm even going to take my feet as wide as the mat. And this is going to give me space to find almost a back bend in the upper body, and that extension across the chest without having to rely on hamstrings being super open. Take a big breath into your belly, and then sigh it out. Nod your head yes. Shake it no. And walk the hands back towards the feet, Malasana, yogi squat. And if you can't find your squat, you're welcome to sit on, you can roll up the blanket and sit on that, or you can pop up onto the toes, that doesn't really work for me. Feel the shoulders drawing away from your ears and the crown of the head getting tall. Close your eyes and come back to the rhythm of the breath. Taking the hands down, we're going to slowly straighten the knees, coming into a wide-legged forward fold at the back of the mat. You can turn the toes in slightly, and then no pressure to straighten the knees fully. You can pedal them out. You can just keep them bent. Let your torso drape over your thighs wherever you are. Let your head be heavy. Weight your feet a lot. Feel for weighting the front and the back of your foot, so your weight is evenly distributed. And then bend the knees a lot, everybody. With the weight right over your feet, we're going to slowly roll to stand, straightening the knees first. Then the lower back. the middle back. Unfurling the upper back and the shoulders, spreading the collarbones and lifting the head. Good. Step the feet underneath you. Just take a moment here in Dandasana. Closing the eyes, standing in our mountain pose. Tadasana, I'm sorry, I said the wrong pose. Just allowing your proprioception to take over. So if there's a slight swaying motion, that means your proprioceptors are working. And with our eyes closed here, standing, we can really tune into the feet and see how we normally stand. A lot of us stand forward on the feet or back on the feet, and this can really cause problems in the rest of the body because our feet are intimately connected to our hips, which obviously is very important for our spine. So we'll try to evenly distribute the weight across the ball of the foot and the heel. We'll lift and spread the toes, feeling both arches of the feet, both arches of both feet. And then set the toes down, but keep some activation in the toe tips. Feeling the arches turn on. You might even feel the muscles in the leg begin to work here with more active feet. Belly draws in slightly. Now we're going to extend the arms overhead. We'll keep the eyes closed for now. And we'll flex the hands so that the fingers point behind us like we're handstanding on the ceiling. Let the shoulder blades drop down toward the hips, pull the belly in slightly, and pull the chest down. Good. Now you can open your eyes. We're going to come up onto the tiptoes here. So balancing. Now this pose befuddled me for a very long time. I couldn't stand on my tiptoes without falling. And I realized recently that I wasn't activating my core. And so the whole thing falls apart when your core is loose, right? Because your core is your center. So let's imagine pulling the belly button in and up, and then drawing the ribs down towards your waist. And then pressing your heels of your hand up more, but keeping the shoulder blades down. Good, and now extend the shoulder blades up. And then lower your shoulder blades. Stay high on your tiptoes, belly in, and lift the shoulder blades up. Good, last one here, flexing the hands a lot, shoulders down, shoulders up. Good, and now keep your gaze on one spot, your drishti. We're gonna walk to the top of the mat, super soldier style. Whoops, there we go, high knees, staying on tiptoes, if you can. So keeping the core engaged, keeping the shoulders lifted, and then lower the heels. That feels good. Circle the hands down and fold. Ooh, it's like really hard to do that. Let's inhale, look forward, and then exhale, step the right foot to the back of your mat and drop the right knee. So we're going to run through Surya Namaskar C. We'll just modify it slightly. So we'll circle the arms up here, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, we'll stay. I want you to imagine scissoring your thighs in towards one another, feeling the sides of your waist turn on. Spread your collarbones, still your gaze, breathe. And pressing into the top of the back foot. Hands come down. Step the left knee back to meet the right. From here, we're going to find knees, chest, chin. So the knees are down, we'll find the chest down and then the chin. And then straighten out your hips, straighten out your knees, and we'll find a low cobra here. Exhale, lower down. Again, inhale, low cobra. Shoulder blades down the back, exhale, lower. Inhale, low cobra. Really weight your hands here. And lower down. Press the hips towards your heels, child's pose. And then downward facing dog. Just checking in with this dog if it feels different from the first one we did today. I know mine definitely does. But you're still welcome to keep the knees bent, keep the feet wide if that's more comfortable for you. Look towards your hands. The right foot steps to the top of the mat. We'll find asana. Left knee drops, arms lift. Breathing here, active through both legs. So we're pressing into the top of the back foot and the sole of the right foot. And then there's this subtle action of moving right hip bone back into its socket, left hip bone slightly forward. Squeezing the left glute, nice tall spine, and then folding the hands down to frame your front foot. Tuck your left toes, and then stepping forward into a fold. Rise up to stand, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, look at your thumbs. Let's come back onto our tiptoes here, keeping the gaze up this time. And then lower the heels and exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step the left foot back this time, Anjaneyasana. Arms sweep up, pressing into the top of that back foot. And then exhale, we'll twist towards the right. So if this is too deep of a lunge for you to twist, just back out of your lunge a little so that your spine stacks over your waist. So we'll inhale, get nice and tall, and then exhale, open the arms to a T facing the right side of your mat. Imagine energetically sliding right heel back, left heel forward. You can gaze just out to the side of you, or you can look at your back thumb. Good. Tuck the right toe or the left toes. Can you lift your left knee? Squeeze your left glute. Good. And then very slowly lower the left knee back down. And take the hands down to frame the right foot. We'll step back, knees, chest, chin, to low cobra. Child's pose. And downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Drop the right knee down. Arms reach up, Anjaneyasana. And then backing out of your lunge slightly, probably for most of us we have to do this. Draw your belly in, get tall, and then twist towards the left. So again, gaze can be just out to the side or over your back thumb. And think about this gaze or this twist initiating from your thoracic spine. So imagine you can keep your belly in but twist your rib cage over towards your left thigh. Energetically scissoring the legs in towards each other. Active through the feet. Good, now we'll tuck the right toes and maybe lifting the right knee, coming to a standing twisted lunge, keeping the belly in, activating right glute, and then slowly lowering right knee down. Look forward, frame the front foot, and then step your right foot forward. Inhaling into our halfway lift, and then exhale, folding over the legs. Rise up, arms up, look at your thumbs. Come up onto the tiptoes, gaze stays at thumbs. And then heels down and exhale, Samastitihi. Hands at your heart. We'll find Utkatasana here, chair pose. So let's keep the feet hip width distance for this one. We'll just take the hips back and down, like we're sitting, reaching our butt back for a chair. That's probably lower than we want it to be. Can you sit your butt back even more? Keep your hands at your waist for this. Good, and then feel for your all 10 of your base toe knuckles grounding. Hug the low belly in. And then find an extension in your upper back. So almost like our cow pose here. Low belly's hugging in, inner thighs hugging in, although they're not touching because our feet are hip width distance. And then squeeze your shoulder blades together and draw them down. And see if you can press the back of your heart forward and then get tall through the crown of the head. So there's not a jutting out of the chin here. In fact, imagine that you're bringing the front of your neck into the back of your neck. The chin draws in, and then the back of your skull draws up. Keep breathing. You got this. Squeeze your elbows together. Hug your belly in. Breathe in. Breathe out, fold. Ooh-wee. Take some breaths here. Good. Let's step the right foot to the back of the mat. And then we'll pivot to face the back of the mat for Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana B. See that your front heel is in line with the arch of your back foot. And then take a deep bend in your front leg. And if knee can stack over the ankle, that's great. It's not necessary. Keeping the hands on the hip points, can you pull the hip points so that they are in one continuous line, leading from your front knee to your back knee. Good, and then we can add the arms here. So pressing down into the feet, feeling for the front knee, guiding just in line with the second toe, or between the first and second toe. If that's comfortable for you. If that's not comfortable for you, you don't have to do it. That's traditionally how it's taught. So this is a problem in a lot of yoga, is that we feel that because a pose looks a certain way, traditionally, that's what we have to do every single time. But that repetitive movement and when we neglect other ranges of motion in our body, it leads to unbalance. And that's how we get injuries from yoga, I believe, by following too much of what a teacher tells you and not enough about what your body is telling you. Reverse your warrior here. So we're going to keep the legs the exact same. We're going to take the left arm down your left thigh. The right arm is going to reach forward and then up, rainbowing the arm up. So we're creating a lot of length in the right side body and in the spine. Good, and then left hand can rest on the back of your leg. Keep lunging into your front knee. And then very slowly, we'll straighten the front knee. Keep reaching up and back with your top arm. And then slowly rising up, arms to a T. Ooh, okay. Parallel your feet. And we'll find that on the other side. Warrior 2. Just feeling for legs in one line if they shifted at all. And if that's hard for you to balance, you can widen the stance a little bit. Splitting the feet a little. So grounding through your feet first. Feel for shoulders on top of the hips. Active through your outer hips. Tall through crown of the head. Right hand comes down the right leg. Left arm reaches forward. And then flip the palm. Reach the fingers up as you take them back. And as you come back with the top arm, lunge more with the front knee because you're going to back out of it automatically. And then keep reminding that back hip point to move back behind you so that the hips stay square. Now very slowly straighten the front knee. Bring the arms to a T. And then step to the front of the mat. Okay, good stuff. So let's see. I think let's just take it down to the mat from here. So we'll find a modified, let's just find chair. Wide-legged chair again, sitting back. I know, we're just here. It feels like it just happened. This time we'll take the arms up, but I want you to remember what was going on in the chest before, hugging the belly in, active in the feet. Good, and then straighten the legs and fold. And then we'll just sit down here. So you might want to walk back a little bit. And we're going to find a gentle twist. So Matsyendrasana, the pose is called Lord of the Fishes. We will bring the left heel in towards the right glute. And the right foot will, actually let's just step the right foot in front. So crossing the left leg, stepping the right foot in front. Left hand comes, or right hand comes behind the back. Lift the left arm up. Inhale, draw your belly in and up, and then exhale, take the elbow outside of the knee. Returning to your breath. Looking forward. And we'll take a little counter twist to the other side, both hands outside the left thigh. And then we're going to find fire log here. So we'll extend the left foot forward towards parallel, and the right shin stacks on top. Now, this is not accessible for every body. If that's the case for you, you'll pull the knees apart so that more of the ankles line up. And then you can bring the heels in, and so this becomes more of like crisscross applesauce. So that's if you have very tight hips. Now, if you are slightly more open, you can stack the shins one on top of another. We'll add our Gomukhasana arms. So this is not Gomukhasana, but we'll add Gomukhasana arms. And in Gomukhasana, the leg that's on top, we want the opposite arm on top. So here we have the right leg on top. And we'll take the strap in the left hand, extending the left arm, and then grabbing the strap with the right hand and walking the hands in towards each other, creeping along the strap. So we're pressing the knees forward and down energetically. You can flex the feet here if the knees complain. That'll help keep your tibia more in a parallel plane. It's not twisting. Press the back of the head into the top arm slightly. But avoid banana backing, which I was just actually doing without meaning to. But that's when we stick the tailbone way out and press the heart forward. Bring the spine back into alignment, sitting on the sits bones. Chest draws down. Shoulders open, face relaxed. Let's breathe here a few breaths. Good, release the strap. First the bottom hand, then the top. And then we will move into Gomukhasana. So walking the feet apart from each other, so to opposite ends of your mat, letting the knees come towards a stack. And then if this is too much, you can always bring heels in towards your body. We'll take the right hand, let's take the left hand down and the right arm up and over. Come all the way. We'll close off the chest here, so bringing the right shoulder to face the floor so that the right hand can come down, and then crawl the fingers in front of you, one on top of the other, coming all the way over to the other side, right hand to the right side of your body, and then open your chest, coming into a side bend on the other side. And coming all the way up. Take the hands behind you, feet down, knees up. We'll just windshield wiper the legs a few times. And then we'll bring the right leg down, left on top. So you can either stack shins like me, this would be double pigeon, or we'll begin to slide the knees apart and then pull the heels in. And you can stop anywhere you feel like is a good stretch for you. So we're going for an outer hip stretch here. For some of us, this will be quite intense. Again, you can flex that pinky toe under or back towards you, and that will bring the foot into flexion and the tibia into alignment in the knee joint to reduce any knee irritation. Coming back up. I just remembered I forgot our twist. So let's bring the right heel in, step the left foot down. Right hand behind the body, left hand behind the body. It's one of those days. Right arm reaches up. Long spine. We'll twist the chest towards the left and take the right arm outside of the left knee. Sitting up tall. So the spine is straight but not stiff. Again, we're not applying too much pressure in this twist. We're going for gentle here. Good, and now look back forward and we'll take our counter stretch over to the other side. And then coming back into our fire log, so the left leg is on top of the right, or maybe you're more in crisscross applesauce. You want to be able to get the knees down, ideally. And if it feels like you can't get the knees down even when you're in crisscross applesauce, you can elevate the hips on your blanket. So we'll sit here and grab our straps. So this time the right hand will be up, strapped in the right hand, and then bend the right arm down the back and reach up the back with your left hand, working the hands in towards each other until you feel a stretch. Press the back of the head gently backwards. Sit down onto your seat. Take the hyperextension out of your low back if you're doing that. Breathe. If there's any pinching, if this feels really tight on the right shoulder, you can just open the elbows wider, like I'm doing here. And this is going to allow the shoulder to move into external rotation so we're not closing off, pinching our biceps tendon. Release the strap, bottom arm first, then the top. And then we'll find Gomukhasana. So the left knee on top of the right, sliding the feet apart, knees together as best you can, and then maybe pulling the heels in if you feel like your knees are in your chest. We'll take a side bend over to the right. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, begin to close the chest off, taking left fingertips down. And then inhale, we'll walk the fingers over to the left and reach the right arm up. And then exhale, we'll stay here. And then coming all the way up. We'll come onto our backs. We'll run through some gentle bridging here, and then an inversion, and then our final rest, shavasana. So bridge pose, we'll take the feet hip width distance, hands by your sides, roll your shoulder blades underneath you a little bit. Press down into the ball of your foot. And then feel that you're sliding your toes forward under like a rug. Good. Now press into the back of the heel, or into your heel, keeping that activation in your front foot. Good. Keep those active feet. So we're pressing into the heel, and we're pressing down and forward with the ball of the foot. Draw your low belly in. Good. And then begin to lift the hips off of the mat. Try to keep that activation in your feet. So your hamstrings are active. Your ankles are also active. And that's going to keep knees in line, hips in line. Low belly is drawing in slightly, but we want the tailbone to be loose here. Imagine your thigh bones spinning inward. So inner thighs drawing down to the floor energetically. And then gently lower the hips down. Okay, just take a moment here on our backs. We'll grab the blanket. We're going to find a shoulder stand. So for a lot of us, shoulder stands is relatively safe posture, but as we age, or if we get injured, we can develop arthritis in the neck. It just doesn't take the weight as well. Ideally, there should not be much weight in your neck in shoulder stand at all. Most of it's in your shoulders. That's why it's called shoulder stand and not neck stand. However, I say all this so that we can just encourage more weight in the shoulders and give the neck a little bit of rest. So we'll place the blanket underneath our shoulders, and then the head will go beyond the blanket here. Good. And so this just gives the neck a little bit more space. And now we'll take the legs up into the air, and you can stay right here, although it's a little difficult to hold the legs up, or you will find Salamba Sarvangasana shoulder stand, bringing the arms by the sides, pressing down into the forearms, into the elbows, and then lifting the hips off of the mat by pressing into the arms. We'll catch the hips with the hands. Good. And then again, we'll take feet over hips, hips over shoulders, and feel that most of the weight is in your shoulders. So feel the top of your shoulders pressing into the blanket. You can close the eyes down. Inversions are very calming for the nervous system. And you can just sit here and watch the sensations come over you. Bend your knees towards your forehead. We'll find Karnapidasana. So traditionally the knees are outside of the ears. That's a lot. For us, our purposes, let's just rest the knees on the forehead. Now again, if you are in supported shoulder stand, you can still bring the knees into the chest. Then we'll gently unroll, staying in your little ball. Allow the weight to pour into your arms, so extend your arms. And then lower the mid-back down, low back, hips, and then the feet, and just resting in our bridge shape. And then we'll find shavasana here. So extending the legs long, and then you can keep your blanket underneath your shoulders. And this is going to provide a very gentle back bend in the thoracic spine. So it actually undoes what we did in shoulder stand where there was a lot of deep flexion. Let the heart space shine open. Let your toes flop out to the sides. Feel your back teeth separating. Relaxing the neck. Relax across your hips. Relax your energetic field, if you could imagine what that would be like. Thank you all for your practice today. Please stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. I hope this served you. I hope it serves your community, your relationships. I'll see you next time.